On February 14th, 1990, Voyager 1 turned its camera towards Earth. This film is inspired by Carl Sagan's Cosmic Perspective. This narration uses an AI-generated voice inspired by his teaching style. Look at that dot on your screen right now. You see it? That tiny pixel, that pale blue speck of light. You know what that is? That's everything you've ever known, everyone you've ever loved, every thought you've had, every dream, every fear, every triumph, every failure, all of it. Right there, on that dot. You think you're having a bad day? You think your problems matter? You think that argument you had this morning was significant? Let me show you something that will change your perspective forever. February 14th, 1990. Valentine's Day. You're probably buying flowers or chocolate or whatever. You're thinking about dinner reservations, normal human things, and 6 billion kilometers away, farther than you can possibly imagine, a spacecraft receives a command. You'd think NASA would be celebrating this moment. You'd think they'd be excited. They weren't. Why waste the fuel, they said. Why risk the cameras? The spacecraft is leaving forever. Why look back? But I wouldn't let it go. I spent years fighting for this photograph. Years writing letters, making phone calls, convincing administrators who thought I was wasting their time, because I understood something they didn't, something you're about to understand. This photograph wouldn't be for science, it would be for you. You want to know why I cared so much? Let me tell you a story. I was 5 years old, growing up in Brooklyn, and one night I looked up at the stars between the buildings. What are those? I asked my mother. They're lights in the sky, she said, but that wasn't good enough for me. So I went to the library. I asked the librarian, and she told me something that changed my life forever. Those aren't lights, she said. Those are suns. Distant suns, just like ours. Some of them probably have planets. You understand what that meant to a 5-year-old boy? It meant we weren't alone. Not in the way people usually think. It meant the universe was bigger than anyone told me. It meant there was something out there worth discovering. I never forgot that moment. And I've spent my entire life trying to give you that same feeling, that same sense of wonder, that same realization that you're part of something vast and beautiful. Let me take you back to 1977. Picture this. You're watching the news. You see rockets launching. 2 spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. You might have ignored it. Just another space mission, right? You had other things to worry about. Your job, your family, your life. But something special was happening. The planets were aligning. A configuration that happens once every 176 years. Your great-great-grandchildren won't see this alignment. Neither will theirs. We had one chance, one shot. So we built these spacecraft, each one weighing less than your car. And we packed them with cameras and instruments and everything we could think of to see what you've never seen. And we launched them. Toward Jupiter. Toward Saturn. Toward worlds you'd only read about in books. Think about Jupiter for a second. You've seen pictures, right? That red spot? That storm? That storm is bigger than Earth, bigger than the planet you're standing on right now. And it's been raging for centuries, since before your country existed, since before your ancestors were born. And we found a moon, Io, covered in volcanoes, erupting, right now, with more power than every volcano on Earth combined. Another moon, Europa, covered in ice, but underneath that ice, an ocean that might have life swimming in it right now as you read these words. Then Saturn. You think you know what Saturn's rings look like. You don't, not until you see them up close. More complex, more beautiful than anyone imagined. And we kept going. Uranus, Neptune, worlds nobody had ever seen up close. But you know what we put on each spacecraft? Something you probably don't think about. A golden record. I led the team that created it. And let me tell you, it was impossible. How do you represent all of humanity in sounds and images? What music speaks for everyone? What pictures show who we are? We included Bach, Beethoven, Chuck Berry, Pygmy songs from Africa, Peruvian panpipes, Japanese shakuhachi, a Navajo night chant. We recorded greetings in 55 languages, from ancient Sumerian to modern Mandarin. Hello from the children of planet Earth. We recorded the sounds of your world. Thunder, rain, waves crashing, a baby crying, footsteps, laughter, and you know what else? A heartbeat. Anne Druyan's heartbeat, the woman I would marry. We recorded it while she meditated on the history of Earth, on evolution, on love. That heartbeat is traveling through space right now, a message of love to the cosmos. We encoded 116 images, a woman nursing a child, a family at dinner, the Great Wall of China, the Taj Mahal, and a diagram showing how to find Earth, just in case someone finds it and wants to visit. You might think that's naive. You might think no one will ever find it. But launching that record into space says something hopeful about life on your planet, about you, about us. By 1990, Voyager had visited every planet we sent it to, all the data collected, all the pictures taken, and it was leaving, heading out into interstellar space, into a journey that will last longer than your civilization has existed. NASA wanted to shut down the cameras, save power. The spacecraft will never return, they said. Why look back? But I kept pushing, for years, because I knew you needed to see what I wanted to show you. February 14th, 1990. The command is ready. The cameras have been off for years. The engineers are nervous. Will they still work, they ask. What if the sunlight burns out the sensors? You know how long it takes for the command to reach the spacecraft? 5.5 hours. The command travels at the speed of light, the fastest thing in the universe, and it still takes 5.5 hours. Think about that. You're reading this right now. If I sent you a message from Voyager's distance, you wouldn't receive it until tomorrow morning. The spacecraft receives the command. Ancient motors whir to life. The spacecraft rotates. The camera activates. Click, click, click. 60 photographs. A mosaic. A family portrait of your solar system. Then it sends the data back. Another 5.5 hours. At NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, scientists gather around monitors. You can imagine the tension. Will it work? Will we see anything? The frames appear. Venus, a bright dot. Jupiter, faint. Saturn, the rings invisible at this distance. Uranus, Neptune, and then frame number 60. At first, it looks like nothing. A flaw, a cosmic ray, scattered light. But there it is, a pale blue dot, suspended in a sunbeam. That's you. That's your home. That's everything you know. From 6 billion kilometers away, look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives there. The aggregate of our joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species, all of it, on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. You think about that war you read about in the news. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph, they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of that dot. You think about conflicts between nations. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent our misunderstandings. How eager we are to kill one another. How fervent our hatreds. Your posturings. Your imagined self-importance. The delusion that you have some privileged position in the universe. All challenged by this point of pale light. Your planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity. In all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save you from yourselves. You know what I find remarkable? The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. You want to go somewhere else. There is nowhere else. Not yet. Maybe you'll visit Mars someday. Maybe you'll settle there eventually. But not today. Not tomorrow. Like it or not, for the moment the Earth is where you make your stand. And I'll tell you something else. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling experience, and character building too. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of your tiny world. To me it underscores your responsibility, our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another, and to preserve and cherish that pale blue dot. The only home you've ever known. Carl Sagan died in 1996, at the age of 62. Too young, people said. Too soon. In his final years, Sagan warned humanity. He said, "You've arranged a global civilization in which most crucial elements profoundly depend on science and technology. And you've also arranged things so that almost no one understands science and technology. You see the problem? This is a prescription for disaster. Climate change. Nuclear weapons. The destruction of your only home." He tried to warn us. And through these ideas that warning continues. Through these words. Through this message. Today Voyager is still out there. More than 23 billion kilometers from Earth now. Farther than anything you've ever built has traveled. Its signal is so weak it takes the most sensitive receivers on Earth to hear it. But it's still there. Still carrying our message. Still traveling. And you're continuing the journey that began decades ago. The James Webb Space Telescope is seeing deeper into the universe than you ever thought possible. Galaxies from the dawn of time. The first stars. The birth of worlds. You're sending rovers to Mars. Searching for ancient life. Preparing the way for humans to follow. You've found thousands of planets orbiting other stars. Worlds that might harbor life. Worlds where perhaps someone else is looking up at their night sky, wondering the same questions I wondered as a boy in Brooklyn. In 40,000 years, Voyager will pass near another star. Gliese 44. Maybe someone will find it. Maybe they'll play the record. Maybe they'll hear Bach, or Chuck Berry, or a baby crying.
or that heartbeat. Maybe they'll see our pictures. Maybe they'll wonder about us. They'll see the message humanity sent into the cosmos. This is a present from a small distant world, a token of our sounds, our science, our images, our music, our thoughts and our feelings. We are attempting to survive our time so we may live into yours. You notice that phrase? We are attempting to survive our time so we may live into yours. You notice that phrase? We are attempting to survive our time. Not we will survive. Attempting, because I knew it wasn't guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed, but I also believed in you. In human potential, in your ability to understand the cosmos and your place in it. You are a way for the cosmos to know itself. Some part of your being knows this is where you came from. You long to return, and you can, because the cosmos is also within you. You are made of star stuff. Think about that. The atoms in your body were forged in the cores of dying stars billions of years ago. You are literally made of the cosmos. You are the universe experiencing itself. And here's what I want you to understand. What I've been trying to tell you this whole time. This perspective isn't depressing. It's liberating. When you realize how vast the universe is, how small you are, how brief your moment here, it doesn't make your life meaningless. It makes it precious. Every sunrise you watch is unique, irreplaceable. Every person you love is a cosmic miracle. The odds of them existing, of you meeting them, of sharing this moment with them, astronomically small. And yet here you are. Here we are. So look again at that dot. Look at it with humility, with wonder, with responsibility, because that dot is irreplaceable. That dot is precious. That dot is home. And I'm telling you, it's worth fighting for. Somewhere something incredible is waiting to be known. So keep looking up, keep asking questions, and never forget what I'm about to tell you. You are made of star stuff. You are a way for the universe to know itself. And for small creatures such as we, the vastness is bearable only through love.